If you're active duty and you're stationed at Nellis or Creech Air Force Base, or you're PCSing into the area, you're a veteran, you're living somewhere, but you really want to use your VA loan, maybe you've been renting in Vegas for quite a while, and you're not quite sure what your next steps are. This video can genuinely change your financial trajectory because the VA loan is one of the most powerful financial tools in the American home buying process. And most of the people that I work with don't fully understand how good it actually is. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how a VA loan works in the Las Vegas market, what it actually gets you, what the limits are, because there are some limitations, and we're going to go over misconceptions about the VA loan, because there are a lot of things that I hear that really hold veterans back. And we want to just blow through all of those and get to the truth. This benefit strategically elevates you because let me tell you how strong you are walking into any home buying situation with a VA loan. You look strong because we know for a fact, like it's 100%, right? There's nothing that's going to stand in our way of you getting a home when you walk in with a VA loan approval. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to share something that most veterans don't even know about a VA loan. That if you understand it, it can change how you think about buying your second and third homes and get you going as an investor. So stick with me to the end. Guys, I'm Gwen. I'm a local Las Vegas realtor. I've been in the business since 2018. I work with first-time home buyers all the way up to people that have multiple investment properties. And I love, love, love educating. I come from an education background. I love teaching folks things that they don't know and that can change their lives. I've lived all over Las Vegas. I'm familiar with all different areas and I do this full time. So I am actively in this market on a regular basis, whether it's resale homes or new homes, I've got you covered. I take my work very seriously and I'm so honored if I ever do get to work with a veteran or an active service member. I come from a military family as well, so my heart is definitely for all veterans and military members. And Vegas is full of them, as a matter of fact. It's a secret. That's kind of how I got to Vegas. My boyfriend was in the Air Force and here I am, voila, 20 years later. All right, let's start with what a VA loan actually is, because most people don't understand how powerful it is. What is a VA loan and why is it so good? This is the literal foundation of everything else that we're going to talk about. And this is why VA loans are so important. It is for any eligible service member or veteran. This is a government-backed mortgage that is guaranteed by the VA. The VA is the Veterans Association, right? So they guarantee the loan. And instead of you having to put down 2%, 3%, 3.5%, 20%, you get to put down 0%. And when I say zero, I literally mean goose egg, guys, 0 down payment. You may have to come in with your earnest money deposit, but you will get that back at closing. So literally it is a 0 down payment in most cases. All right, second thing, no private mortgage insurance. On a typical loan, we have a private mortgage insurance company that backs the loan. If anything happens and you default, they guarantee that they will cover the mortgage, right? That's how the banks are able to have the security to give loans. Those loans are usually backed by the FHA, Fannie or Freddie, but in a VA, you have the Veterans Association backing it. So it is literally removing private mortgage insurance, which can be $300 to $500 of the payment. So not only are you coming in with no money down, but you're not having to pay that mortgage insurance, saving you even more money. Okay, interest rates. VA loans get better interest rates. When I say that the government takes care of veterans when it comes to home buying, they set you up for success. They give you the best interest rates, no PMI, no down payment. They want the security and stability of knowing that our service members own their own homes. And that makes our country even more secure and stable and our communities safer. So of course they want to do everything they can to get you a home. The credit requirements are very flexible. better interest rates, and there's very strict limits on what can be charged to a service member. So they won't make you pay the closing costs. They won't make you pay for the inspections. A lot of those things are taken care of. And that again is a benefit if you are a veteran or service member. So when you stack up all these benefits, you guys, this is oftentimes the most flexible way to buy a home in America. And when you walk in the door and say, I'm using a VA loan. Okay, so let's talk about who actually qualifies, because I do have sometimes, if you're active duty, literally you only have to have been active duty for 90 days before those VA benefits kick in. And for veterans, it's typically that you had to have 90 days of active duty during wartime or 181 days during peacetime. So both of those will make you eligible. All right, what if you're National Guard or Reserves? Love those guys too. And that's the one I always tell my kids, do it, right? Get the college, get the VA loans. You usually have to have 6 years of service or 90 days under the federal Title 10 orders. So it's one of those options, right? You're either in it for several years or you've had the call of the active duty. Okay. Or if you are even a surviving spouse of a veteran who died in service or from a service-connected condition. Those folks are also eligible. So if you were married to a service member and that person passed away, then you very likely are eligible for a VA loan. Again, it's your COE, your certificate of eligibility is what's going to tell us that. So that's that document. And the lender can pull it up online. It takes about 10 minutes on the VA portal. This is the beauty of everything going digital now, is that we can access all that. So even if you're not sure, it's literally a phone call and we can confirm everything for you. Don't guess on this. Definitely have your lender pull up your COE. It's free and it will answer all those questions for you definitively. Okay, let's talk about the zero down reality. Is it real? Guys, it is 100% real. It is zero down. What it means and why it matters? Well, it means that when you walk in the door and you say, I am approved with a VA loan, when I go to write that offer for you, I'm literally putting 0 in the down payment box, right? And they will say, great, we're good with that. Cool, you're a VA loan, no problem. Other people that you would be competing with may need to come in with 3.5, 5, 10, or 20%, and you are coming in with nothing. It's very powerful. And it also sets you apart when you're competing with other people. It does keep people out of home ownership a lot of times when they have a huge down payment to come up with. That's usually the number one factor that I see for people saying, I can't buy a home. I don't have a down payment. So if you have a VA loan, we remove that completely and now you're in, like Flynn, right? You've got the VA loan, no money down. We don't have to worry about the down payment. However, we do have to worry about the monthly payment. So you still have to qualify based on your income, based on your credit score. You do still have those factors and they are going to play into the amount of money you qualify for and the amount of your payment. For example, I had a young couple. He was active duty at Nellis, but he'd been renting off base for 3 years. And he was able to buy a 4-bedroom home in North Las Vegas for less out of pocket than they were actually paying when they first moved into their rental. Because, right, the rental requires security deposits and first month down and all of these very expensive things, application fees and all of that. So when they actually purchased the home, the move-in was lower. Even with the 0 down though, we want to see reserves in your bank account as well. They're gonna wanna see that you could cover the mortgage for a couple months if an emergency happened or if you need a new water heater. So they are going to want to see that you have some reserves in the bank, even if you don't have to put that towards the down payment. So that's also an important factor. Okay, another fee that you don't have to pay when you are in using a VA loan is the funding fee. The funding fee is something that the lender will charge you, And that is completely waived when you have a VA loan. That's part of the VA program, right? In order to use a VA loan, lenders have to waive some of those fees. And similar to the PMI, you don't have it at all. Another important factor that we need to talk about when we're using a VA loan is the funding fee. The funding fee is a part of every VA loan buyer. And let's talk about when it can be waived. It is one thing that a VA loan has that a conventional loan doesn't. It is a one-time fee that is paid directly to the VA, and it's usually 1.25% up to 3% of the loan amount, depending on if it is your first time home or a second or third. And it is used, and it's lower on the first one, but it is higher on the second or the third property, or fourth or fifth, or anyone after that. The good news is that most people roll it directly into their loan, so it doesn't necessarily affect you when it comes to you have to put it down to get in. But it is a fee that you're going to have to cover. And even better news is that if you have a service-connected disability, then or 10% or more disability rating, then you're completely exempt from it. So that's that little caveat of when we waive the funding fee. If you were disabled or you have a disability from the VA of 10% or higher, then that funding fee is completely waived. That's a beautiful, beautiful little detail there. And a lot of veterans do have that. All right, if you have any VA disability rating, and you of course have to confirm that with the VA, that's another one of those things that we would be able to look up just to confirm, then that's a real savings for a disabled veteran. Okay, also common VA loan myths that cost veterans money. There are some myths that kind of revolve around VA loans, and obviously the VA loan program has evolved over time as well. It is not the VA loan of 45 years ago when my dad was using it, right? It has changed over time as the military has changed over time. So the program has actually gotten better. In my opinion, it's gotten better for veterans. Okay, one misconception is that VA loans take forever to close. I hear this all the time actually from agents. Oh, it's a VA loan. It's going to take 75 to 90 days for us to close it. That may have been the fact or the case way back in the days. But now it's typically 30 to 35 days, which is true of any loan program. So I don't really see any difference in the length of time that it takes to close on a VA loan at all. There might be a couple extra few steps that we have to go through because we do have to have a termite inspection, but that doesn't actually take any additional time. All right, myth number 2 is that sellers don't want to go with a VA buyer. Sometimes people think, oh, it's a VA buyer, so there's going to be more red tape or, more inspections or anything like that. Well, in Las Vegas, we don't have termites anyway, so that has never been a factor in any property that I've ever purchased or sold. But in addition to that, I think it's just the opposite. A lot of times sellers want to honor veterans, so they actually look for a VA loan as very secure. We know the money is good. We know that no matter what, they're going to be able to come up with, just a few $1,000s, and that's all it takes. So a lot of times I think that people prefer to go with a VA buyer. So myth number 2, blown out. Sorry. People definitely want to work with VA buyers. All right, myth number 3 that I hear. The VA appraisal is going to kill the deal. The VA appraisals are notorious. They come in lower. I do hear that, and that is another common misconception. VA appraisals come in just at the same rate as regular type of loan appraisals. They are stricter on the inspections. They are more protective of the money. So yes, they are going to make sure that there's no damage on the house, but that is actually protecting the buyer. So in my opinion, those are only good things. And what it means to you as a home buyer is if it comes back that there's an issue on the home inspection, or the appraisal comes back with, we need these repairs to be made, the sellers have no choice other than to do them. So it actually is better for you as a buyer. Okay, another common myth that I hear. You can only use a VA loan once. And I've already used it, so I can't buy another home. I used my VA loan 15 years ago, 20 years ago. That has changed. That's another really big misconception. The VA gives you a dollar amount. That loan can be used as many times as that dollar amount is still available. So if you bought a home for $100,000 and your VA loan limit is $800,000, you could have 7 more $100,000 homes, or you could have one home that's $700,000 and one home that's $100,000. You have that entire loan amount available. And if you sell one of those houses, guess what? Now that replenishes and you have that money to work with again. So it is not a one and done. It is you have this total amount and you can use it anytime. Never expires, never goes away. As a matter of fact, the loan limits actually increased within the last 10 years because obviously home values increased. So that's an evolution. It's an evolving thing. Okay. Number 6 myth that I hear all the time for VA buyers. I'm not a first-time home buyer, so I can't use a VA loan. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer, and that kind of goes back to what I was just saying. You have as many loans as your dollar amount that you're approved for. So it could be a second home. Maybe you want to get a house for your summertime because Vegas is hot. You want a house up on Mount Charleston that you use when it's hot here. Maybe you want to get a house in a different state where you have other family or friends and you want a snowbird. Maybe you want to be up in New York in the summertime, right? So you could definitely own houses in different areas as well. There's nothing stopping you from purchasing more than one property in a different area. You're coming into Vegas and you haven't lived here before and you aren't really sure where or how do I do this? Okay, you need the PCS Playbook. You need to know step by step, how do you get here? How do you time it? And what is the process? So this can be one of the most stressful situations. I know you have to pack, you're still working. Maybe you have family members or spouse that can help you figure things out, but how do you figure out where to live when you're living out of town or maybe even out of country? My first step is let's have a discovery call where we take 15 minutes and we get on the phone and we talk about your schedule, your family, your living situation, your budget, things that are important to you. Like, are you traveling a lot? Do you need to be close to an airport? Are you a road tripper? Do you want to be close to a highway? So all of those kinds of things would factor into that first call. And then step number 2 would be to get pre-approved. I would connect you with one of those lenders that specifically does VA loans. And then you would have a conversation with them, talk about your budget, talk about your finances, talk about what you're comfortable with, and get pre-approved before you touch down in Vegas. Step number 3, I would say let's do a house hunting expedition where I can either do a video search for you or you could fly in for a weekend if that's a possibility too, and we can just take a full 48 hours and deep dive into different communities and different properties and look at what you like. And as I see that, then also I can help cull those things and cultivate a better search. And that's about it. Like, once we have that and we have the house hunting, maybe we can find something that you like. It's usually pretty quick. There's a lot of really great opportunities here in Vegas. And then I walk through every home with you. We do everything. We can do it on a FaceTime or a Zoom. I can take videos and everything can be done virtually as far as signing paperwork. So, hey, it's pretty smooth sailing, but you do need someone to hold your hand and that can guide you through the process. And to put it in military terms, I'm your boots on the ground. So if you need an agent that is local, that knows this area and has worked with lots of veterans and lots of active duty military folks, I can give you the ins and outs, and I know all the greatest neighborhoods. So I'm right here for you. Okay, another important factor is the best areas for those military that are active duty stationed at Nellis or Creech. So 2 areas that I'm very comfortable with are the areas around the Air Force bases. And since we do have those 2 bases and they are kind of like diametrically opposed on different ends of town, there are some really cute areas for both of them that are very reasonably priced and that I work in on a regular basis. But I know commute time is important because you guys have to get up early. So we want to make sure that we get you into a nice community that is safe, that is close to base, where you're going to feel good about your family being there when you're not there. A couple that I would like to point out are Aliante, which is smack dab in the middle of those two bases, and also Sky Canyon, Centennial Hills, Providence. Those are new construction neighborhoods, and there are so many also on the east side that are coming up as well. I generally like to steer military families away from the Southwest just because that is a very long commute, and also kind of away from Henderson because, again, very long commute. But if you're getting BAH, if you're getting the financial incentives that the military gives you, I'm happy to help you spend it wisely and find something that's going to be really beneficial for your family, your commute, and your lifestyle. Okay. The lifetime benefit, the part that most veterans miss, is that the VA loan is not a one-time deal. The VA loan is a lifetime benefit. And in many cases, you can have multiple VA loans at one time, depending on the remaining amount of entitlement that you have. My best strategy for those who want to get into investing in real estate using VA loans is that you buy your first one as your primary residence that you're going to live in. And then you have to live there for 12 months. But after that, if you PCS or move up, you can buy a second home. So that is 6 myths that we've just wiped out about VA loans. And there's probably a lot more. If I've missed one, drop it in the comments or reach out to me directly. There are specific lenders that I work with that are very, very experienced when it comes to VA loans. So I prefer to go with those particular lenders that, you know, they know what they're doing. They do this hundreds of times in a year. They know all of those ins and outs because obviously the rules do change at times. So that's another really important tip, is that I would want to work with a lender who's very experienced with VA loans.